First, I'm going to cover tips and techniques, also best practices one should follow while developing Salesforce Lightning applications using SLDS and CSS. So, what is a SLDS? It is a Salesforce Lightning Design System. This library is actively developed to enable Salesforce developers to create a uniform look and feel across all Salesforce related applications while adhering to CSS best practices and conventions. So if you see Salesforce SLDS classes, they're little clumsy, and if you see that there are underscores between the two classes and hyphens, and you might wonder what is the double underscore, a single underscore and hyphens, then this is the right class for you to understand. So today I'm going to explain that BEM model. So BEM model is the model which Salesforce SLDS team itself followed while giving the names to SLDS classes. So this is the model, exact model they have followed. So I'm going to explain this model. This model, if you understand this model properly, it will be very helpful so that you can able to remember the classes and you can build the effective applications. So let's get started. So in this example, I have taken that house as the example to explain it very clearly. So if you want to build any application, you will build that little components, and if it that little components together will become a actual application. So I have taken a in this scenario, my house is the actual application I want to build. So this is the bigger component, and if you see that windows or doors, these are the small components or inner components. So the collection of inner components makes my house. So now I want to build this application. Then how I'll write the classes. For example, first since house is the bigger component, I will write one class as the house class. My CSS class name is a house. So what I'll write inside that, what are the common properties for all the houses I build. So that common properties I'll include in this house class. Okay, so that is the block. So whenever you are building the application, first you will think in a larger perspective, and you should give a class name which is for that bigger that component, and you should give that style which are common across all the components. So if in this house, and if you want to build another house, that what are the common features, that common features we have to write inside this style class. Okay, so that is the B stands for block. And what is E? So in BEM model, BEM, so E stands for element. So what is the element? Element is nothing but a smaller component. In our example, it can be a door, or it can be a window. So now I want to write a style for thing like door. So how will I write? I will create a house, and since um, door is a inner component, I should use double underscore. So house underscore underscore door. If you I want to build I want to write a CSS for window, then I should write house double underscore window. So if there are any inner component, for example window, there is any inner component, basically window doesn't have the inner component, or for example if there is a inner component, then what you should write, you will write another underscore underscore and that component name. So it is like that. So if there is any inner component, then you should write the class with the double underscore as a prefix. Okay, so that is the element. So if you see any CSS SLS, they will follow in this fashion: component, that class name, and double underscore, and child component. If there is any other child component, then again double underscore and that component name. Okay, and BGM. So M for modifier. So what is exactly a modifier? Modifier is nothing but a variant. So if you see each house will be a different. So each house has a different color. So that color you will consider as a variant. So you'll create, for example, my house, the color is gray. So what I'll do, I'll write house underscore um, gray. So my house color is the gray. So house underscore gray, my class name, and I'll um, I'll write the style inside that my house color. So what are the specific color I want to declare? I will give that color inside this class name. So what the thing you have to remember is, since all the way modifiers you should use single underscore, not the double underscore. If it is so double underscore is for inner components and single underscore is for variants. So let's see, if you, for example, since I told you my house is the bigger component and I want to my house in I want in a gray color. So how I should give, I should create a 1 minute, sorry. So I want to give the gray color. So my class name house, since gray is a variant, so house single underscore gray. Now I want to give my door as a pink color. Then how I should write that CSS color? House double underscore door, since the door is the inner component, and I want to give the color. So color is the variant. So single underscore and pink. So this is the way I'll give a naming conventions for my class. So this is the way I'll create a classes. So if you see SLDS classes, you will see that this passion, and that variant you can give single underscore, or sometimes you can give hyphen also. So it's you might see that hyphen also sometimes. Okay, this is the BM model they have followed. You must understand this one. And next, while uh, while you are building any lightning component, frequently you want to give the CSS styles based on the dynamic data. So here dynamic data in the sense, you based on your lightning component attribute value, you want to give a some particular class name. So in that you can use you can use that components. I mean, you can write that dynamic way. You can apply dynamic CSS in this fashion. But if you see that you always you need to give a space between the classes. Okay, so but there is a lot of chance that you will, while writing the dynamic code, there is a chance that you might forget the giving a space between the classes. So if you forget that, then it will result in a it will break your page layout, or it will give you a bad look to your page, right? So then what you here the tip is, so you should follow the join function. If you use the join function given by the Salesforce, so that join function itself gives you the space. So if you see here, just I'm giving the space and the logic is remain the same. So so what it will do, it will gives you the space between the each class. So there will be a no chance that you miss the space between the classes. So you always achieve the same results the way you want. This is the one. And these are the things you must remember while building the applications. So component must be set to 100% width, because um, always better to give the components with 100%, because you will move and you don't know wherever you drag that component, or where inside the page where you want, you don't know on which page you want, you don't know. So it's always best practice is to give the 100% width. And you should not statically given that you should not hard code the, I mean hard code in the sense, you should not specify this width and height statically, because the same reason you don't know where this component will be placed, or in which block inside of which page this component will be placed, or um, so you don't know accurate position of this component inside a page. That is the reason you should not give a static width and height for these components. And also using floats and absolute or fixed positions breaks the layout of your page. So these are the things you must remember while you are declaring CSS for your components. And while you are giving the divs, always remember that you should not give a higher over position or over height larger than the your parent div. So for example, think like your parent div having the 100 pixel, but your child div having the 200 pixel. So it will break the your component, your page. It will break your page layout because you have given the child height is larger than the parent height. Okay. And if you see, you then see that second one. If you see this one, my parent height I have given 100 pixel, and child div also I have given the 100 pixel, but I have given the margin 10 pixels. So a margin also increases your elements effective size. So it will increase that your child element size. It will makes your child element is larger than the parent, so it will also break your page layout. So this is the another thing, so you should remember these things as well. And there are a few more tips and tricks are there, but uh, however I will cover those tricks maybe in next video, and I'm going to make a few more videos. So while showing that scenarios, I will cover these tips as well. And if you like my video, please subscribe, and if you have any suggestions, please comment. And thanks for watching.